Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. I'm over here in Jericho, Long Island. I'm over here at my friend Andy from Jericho's house. I went with him to New Jersey. We did a little bit of a road trip, just driving there and back. Anyway, so today is Friday, and we're supposed to get 9 to 15 inches of snow tomorrow, Saturday. So we're looking forward to that. On our way home, we've stopped back at his house so I can get my car, which is my son's Acura Legend, right? Works just fine. And anyway, as you can tell, can you tell? It's snowing already. But today, we're going to check out his Troy Bilt dual stage Storm 2410 that he's had for about 5 years. He paid $4.99 for it 5 years ago. Now it's like $6.99 or $7.99, something like that. Anyway, so the symptoms are that this has run fine for the past 5 years. I actually have a few videos of him using it, and it works just great. But this year, he used it for our first storm, which was about, I want to say like 2 weeks ago or something like that. Anyway, he's told me that when he started it on choke, it starts just fine, maybe 1 or 2 pulls. And then when he would move the choke lever to run, it would stall. So it runs well on half choke. And if you took it to full run, it'll stall. So what does that mean, fellas? That means that the carburetor is dirty. And he's never cleaned this carburetor before, ever, in 5 years. And he doesn't drain his gas. He just uses it, stores it. Next time it snows, he pulls it out, starts, no problem. But this year, it's a little bit, it doesn't run right. Hey, Andy,
Yep.
Start it up for these guys so they can see what the problem is. So it's on choke right now. He's going to pull start it, okay? And we're going to see exactly what's wrong, what the symptoms are. So it starts just fine. Now we'll put it to run. Half. Okay, that runs fine. Starts to surge a little because there's not enough gas, too much air. Now you take it to full run. Okay, see, so it's not as bad as if you put it to full run, it'll stall. It doesn't actually stall. It just surges a lot. So what happens is there's some gumminess that has clogged the carburetor. Therefore, not enough fuel is getting through the emulsion tube up to the carburetor. There's obviously too much air when you open up the choke, right? So it runs good when you have a little bit of fuel and a little bit of air, but when you have too much air, it's not going to run right. So what we were going to try to do a quick and dirty, but then I remembered that his snowblower was only 5 years old, which means that it's not a Tecumseh engine. It's one of those Chinese ones. This is probably a Powermore engine because it's an MTD, right? MTD makes Troy Bilt, Cub Cadet, that kind of thing. So they have MTD contract their engines, and this is what it is. It's a Chinese MTD engine. And I remembered that I worked on some people's MTD engines, and you can't easily get to the carburetor without removing this metal piece that includes the choke lever, the primer bulb, your on and off key, and your throttle lever too. Everything in this one area. You usually have to remove this just to get to the carburetor. But now I put my hand here, and I actually feel the carburetor and the bowl. See? So it's accessible. So I think maybe if we do a quick and dirty, it might be okay. But look, I just touched it on the bottom. Look, what do I see? I see brown gas. See? Put your hand here, and it's brown gas. Well, that's not good because he said he just put new fuel in here. So I'm going to put this thing on its face, and we're going to drop the bowl and check out what's inside. So we put down some cardboard here. We're going to put it on its face so we don't drip gas. We don't drip gas on his garage. There we go. So it's on its face. This is the service position, right? And as you can see, look at that. We do indeed have access to a bowl of the carburetor. And he was right. There is some kind of leakage going on from this bowl. So we're going to, I mean, look, I would prefer not to remove this thing. I would prefer to just try to get things done this way. But it kind of bothers me why there's a leak. You know what I mean? You didn't notice a leak, right? So, but we see it here. You touch it and you can see right over here there's a leak. So there's, maybe it's a gasket or this isn't tight enough, but why would it loosen up if he didn't touch it? You know, he hasn't touched it before. But as you can see, look, I'm touching the nut area and there's some. And then I'm touching the side of the bowl and there's some. So it could be the gaskets. We won't find out until we drop the bowl. So we're going to get a 10 millimeter socket. That's probably what it is. And then we'll see what's in there. So Andy's got one of these things. It's a rollerblade tool, 10 millimeter. Perfect. So we're just gonna, so this bowl is the jet bowl that loosens the bowl. This one here is a drain. So if you wanted to just get rid of all the fuel that's in your bowl and store it, you know what I mean? You could just take that out and it'll drip out. So what I'm thinking is, now you've never opened this obviously, so I wonder why it leaks. That kind of bothers me. I would like to not take this freaking thing apart, you know what I mean? But right. If we don't see anything really wrong with it in the bowl, we're gonna have to figure out why it's dripping, you know? So look, if you look at here, gasket looks good. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, gasket looks good. So we're gonna take the bowl off now. You ready?
Oh, wow.
It's clean, man.
Wow.
There's nothing in there. There's no gum, nothing.
Right. 5 years.
Did you put stabilizer in here?
Every year.
Every year, right? Well, I'm a little concerned as to why we... Look, that's clean, you know? There ain't nothing wrong with it. I don't see... There's nothing wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with it. If you look over here, there's... How many holes do you see inside? Do you see any holes in there?
One.
One? Because I can't see the wheels blocking.
Yeah,
right?
one.
All right, doesn't matter. So look, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use some contact cleaner for my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. And we're just going to go in here. The hole is the emulsion. I can feel it now, right there. Oh, sorry. Did I get you?
Nope.
All the way around. We've definitely flooded this already. Now, contact cleaner does not blow up gaskets like conventional carburetor cleaner. So you know what? I mean, you guys saw that bowl. It was clean. You know what I mean? And we just want to blow the jets. I'm just going to try this right now. It's going to be kind of a bitch to get the... If you guys could see, that O-ring gasket has come loose from there. I have to try to use my fingers and just like kind of put it there for now and then jam it in there with the bowl to put it right back again. We'll put the nut back on here. We'll try to start it again after it kind of clears up because obviously I blew a lot of fluid in there, so it's going to be kind of flooded, you know what I mean? But eventually it will start up, I hope, and we'll check out how that is because that's a quick and dirty right now, okay? Whatever was in there, hopefully the carb spray will have neutralized and dissipated the gum. And if there was a blockage with any of the holes, you hope that maybe that carb cleaner would have, you know, vaporized whatever gummy stuff that was blocking a hole, maybe. But it does kind of bother me that you saw like a little bit of a leak, right? So the leak could be from the needle and seat, whereas some gum may have got the needle stuck in there so that the fuel would come down and it would drip from the top. You know what I mean? But I think, ideally, I'd like to remove this float, take the needle out, but I'm just going to try to get away with it by doing this. So when you do that, you try to get that hole clean. So you see what we're doing here? The gasket in there. That gasket, I can't get the gasket in there to put the bowl back on. There's just no room because you have a finger. Your finger can only go in these little areas. And that gasket just will not stay up there. So just for learning purposes, Andy's going to remove the 6 or 7 bolts. And we're just going to take this cover off and see what it looks like.
Just like that. This one is over here.
Okay, so it's a longer one for the top, and the side ones were 2 shorter ones. You got to remember that. You don't want to put the shorter ones where you need the long one, you know. And
now
that's
I have
not
to go
going
get my socket.
Got to get a socket because this one's inset, so you need an extension for the ratchet to get there. I could just mess with this and try to get that O-ring gasket back on there, but you know, I want to see where that leak's coming from anyway. So we're just going to take that this cover off just to see. All right, never mind. So he went to try to look for an extension to get to that deep bolt that's inset there, but he couldn't find one. But anyway, while he was looking for it, I managed to lift this up a little because he already got rid of 3 screws, right? So I lift this up so that gave me more room with my fingers, and I finally got the O-ring gasket on there, put the bolt back on. We're just going to put it back on. We're not going to put these bolts back on because we may end up taking it off anyway, but let's just put it back on its side again, regular. We'll start it up and see if a quick and dirty worked. You guys think it'll work? I think it'll work. Remember, we might have flooded it because we sprayed so much shit in there.
Feels different.
Does it? Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Sounds different too, dude.
Go ahead.
Oh, that's definitely a grinder.
So we started it was kind of flooded. It's on full run. Surging a little. But honestly, these Troy Bilts, they surge. After you use it for a while, it doesn't surge, you know? But in the beginning, when you first start it up, you let it run for a bit, it does surge. All of them do. At one point or another, they do. But that quick and dirty seemed to have cleaned it up. You can put it on full run and it'll run. We'll let it run for a bit. So it's kind of cyclic. So it runs smooth for like 3 seconds, and then it'll go to surging for 3 seconds. And it's smooth. Surge. A little bit. But these Troy Bilts with the Chinese Powermores, they do that. You guys search surging Troy Bilts, you'll see tons of them, you know. I remember it always surged a little bit in the beginning, but then once you run it for a bit, it's fine. Hey, engage the auger. Engage the auger for me. So we just put in half a can of this deep clean fuel system cleaner. Clean out the jets a little bit. We're gonna let it run for a bit from Lucas Oil Products. So as you guys saw, our fix did not really fix the problem because it still surged just as much as before. So we've decided, well, I told him first that the surging comes from the pilot jet not being accessible to clean. Usually the surging is always the pilot jet. I'm not really 100% sure if this has a pilot jet. I know with the Tecumseh Snow Kings, you have that black little cap that's covering it. Pull it out, unscrew it, take it out, and usually that hole is clogged, that super tiny one. I'm not too sure about these Powermore carburetors, but just to figure it out, Andy has taken the cover off. So we'll see if we can get access to a pilot jet to clean, you know?
I mean, I really don't want to take off any of these wires.
So the biggest deal is this thing here is a wire for the kill, right?
Yeah.
You can just lift this over that. Can you get it? Okay, there you go. See what's in here, guys? This lever over here, the throttle lever, goes in the middle where there's a slit on that lever, which allows you to pull this thing off, right? And what's holding it?
This. The fuel, the
the fuel hose. We can pull that off right from there.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can pull that right off. Just pull.
Okay.
There you go. And then we just put that to the side. See, that's not bad. All right, let's check out this carburetor. Damn, that carburetor's like covered with like a plastic cover. Look at that. Crazy? Why do they make it so difficult? I would have to say, well, I have to look at this more clearly. I'm going to put down the camera and look at it a little bit more clearly to look for the pilot jet. But it looks like it's just two 10mm bolts over here to remove this plastic sheathing and a couple of Phillips to remove that top cover. Why do they cover this stuff up like that, man? Drives me crazy. There's the fuel input over there. Yeah, I think we would have to remove that stuff. Looky here what we got, fellers. We took the carburetor off. Primer bulb line, okay? There was a black plastic sheathing that went over here. Black cover that went over there. Went on the two studs over here. Throttle linkage on the top. The small tension wire for the throttle attachment here. You had the vent hole to the valve cover here that goes onto the black cover that went on the front, right? And that was it. The primer. Oh, fuel line. Removed the fuel line. Plugged it with a screwdriver hanging on top so it doesn't pour out, right? Here's the inner gasket for the intake manifold. And so look, if you look at the carburetor here, right? You got the throttle lever, and then you have the idle screw here. The idle screw is holding this bottom part here. This is your pilot jet right there, under there. We never clean that. That usually is responsible for the surging, all right? In addition, we never cleaned this intake hole here or that hole there, right? I'm pretty confident that's pretty clean because I did blow quite a bit of fluid up the emulsion tube as well as clean that area. We're not going to take this off again because we know that's clean. Also, we got that damn... Look at that. That's no good. We will remove that and fix that gasket. Okay, remove the bowl. Orientation looks like this. I was pinching the gasket, which is no good. But I think this gasket is not really put on right because now it's kind of pinched. You know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. But look, while we have this off, look. I'm going to remove the float because that's what I didn't want to do before. Don't let me lose that pin. Float comes off. Needle goes with it. I'm going to put this right there. Don't move. And then over here is your input for your gas. That needle goes into this hole. We want to clean it of any kind of gum that's in here. And while we're, while we're here, we'll do this. Look at that. Look at that. Cool. See how it's coming out there? Now, technically, Andy, if you had a carburetor screwdriver, which you probably don't, you could actually take the inner jet out and unscrew it and clean it. But this is a clean carburetor. You know what I mean? So I don't think anything's going to be wrong with it, as long as we get the holes. The main thing is the... Look at that. Main thing is this hole here too. This hole here. This hole here. That's pretty clean. Here, check this out. This is the primer bulb hole.
Clean ski.
Now over here, here is your idle screw.
Damn, that's all dirty.
When you remove the idle screw, it covers the pilot jet. So I'm gonna remove this with a flathead, take that out, and I'll show you guys the pilot jet when I get it out. So we're gonna remove this idle screw, and I remember it was like 2 threads out, so approximately. You could always adjust it. Idle screw here. And this part here is not a screw at all, you just pry it. You what? You pry it? That's right, right there, just like that, see? You pull it out. Right there is your pilot jet. There's a teeny tiny son of a bitch that you need to clear. And I'm pretty sure Andy does not have a wired wheel bristle.
No.
Small enough to get into that hole. As you can see, there is a hole there, but that's always going to be pretty clear. Your carburetor's pretty damn dirty if that hole's not clear. But there's a tiny one right there that nobody ever pays attention to. And that's what we need to do, is clear that area. Now let's see. If I blow in here, will you see fluid go through those holes? Oh, you do! Mm-hmm. Which means it's clear. Or at least it's kind of clear.
Right. How's that taste?
See, that's what the thing is. You can blow into it. You just try not to taste it. Spit out whatever you had. So honestly, I mean, it's pretty clean. So look, if that's clean, I'm going to try to find something around his garage. But here's the area where you blow into that hole. Can you see a hole in there? Mm-hmm. You see it? Mm-hmm. So we're going to blow into that hole. Isn't that cool?
Looks pretty clean to me.
That's what I'm talking about, man. So we've gone through pretty much everything with the exception of this jet. But very rarely do the holes get clogged in that jet. And given that this carburetor is the way it looks, I doubt it's dirty. Because we don't have a... Wait a minute, do we? Now look, if you don't have a carburetor screw... Oh, wow, this fits.
I have a smaller one, too.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute.
I don't...
It turned! Wow! Oh, that was amazing. Because even normally without the right tools, with the right tools, you can't get it out. But this carburetor is in very good shape, you know what I'm saying? So this is hard to get out. Wow. Coolidge. You see that?
So that's like a firing pin.
You stop talking about that stuff. So, ideally, we would need super fine
Jeez, dude.
needles to get into those holes,
Just
right?
blow it out.
Yeah. And it's 2 pieces. You have to remember the orientation. You can't do it this way or that way. I know that, you know, from fixing this shit all the time, that this is the top, okay? This part here with the screw thing is on the bottom, obviously, so you know that that's how it goes. You just want to make sure that these holes are clear. So look, I'll put my finger here and block it. I'll put this here. Be careful, Andy. I'm going to be spraying. Let's see if stuff comes out these multiple holes. 5 holes. Ready? Woo! Oh, cool, huh?
Very cool.
Rotate it. Now, it looked like most of it is working, so that's fine. Amazing, huh?
Very clean.
And this one here, final one. Now look, ideally you want to put all this stuff apart into an ultrasonic cleaner, but wouldn't you guys say that this is pretty clean? I would say so. Now we're gonna blow the hell out of that. Okay. Just flood. I've used like almost half a can on this carburetor. Okay. But you know what? You do what it takes to clean it. And this
What are
carburetor...
you using?
I'm using contact cleaner from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products.
That's right.
All right, so we're going to put this back in here. I know that goes in that way. I know that this goes in this way, like that.
Henry, how are you so sure?
Well, because I've been doing this for about 4 years. By the way, gentlemen, I do have 1,400 videos. If I don't have a video on a day that you would like to watch, you can just go to my website, mowersblowers.com, and check out my tree link, where I have links to my merch stickers, as well as my other links that you might be interested in. Plus, you can go to my website and check out my entire library of YouTube videos, including my playlists. Be sure to check out my Desert Sand series, where I take an LT1000 lawn tractor and I convert it into a Hummer. It was a really good series of episodes. I actually made a Gatling gun from scratch, and I really miss that machine. The only reason why I no longer have it anymore is because some nut paid me $650 for it. It did nothing. It didn't mow the lawn or nothing. It was just a hauler with a paint job. And some guy bought it.
It's a go-kart, man.
Can you believe it? But you know what? Whatever, man. I got the content. I have it in my library. And somebody now has my Hummer. And he's having fun with it. And I have $650. So, you know, it was a good project. But the money talked. You know? So this was kind of dirty around here where the bulb gasket was. So I'm just kind of getting out the soot and stuff. This may have been the reason why it was kind of leaking in the first place, because I don't know how this stuff got in there. You know what I mean? Because there's a gasket there. Why should it be dirty? You know. Anyway, I'm going to put this all back together again. I'll spare you guys the agony of watching me put it all together. But once I have it together, I'll get back to you. Hopefully this cleaning did the job. Okay, fellers, we put everything back. We put everything back. It's on choke. He's priming it. Prime it until you feel like fuel is going in, because it needs some prime to get fuel. Oh, shit. Do you not feel fuel? It takes some... You need to push it until you have fuel. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Keep pumping it until you feel something. Good Lord.
COVID. Oh wait, I already had it.
Dude, don't push it in. Just push it. There you go. Do you feel any fuel?
No.
No? All right, go ahead and try it now. Okay, so in summary, we took apart the carburetor, right? And it's cleaned everything, and it still surged, right? So the only other alternative, if we have two choices, okay? One choice is to buy a new carburetor and put it on, and that should work. The second thing is, you remember that little small jet in the tube of the emulsion? The one where you take a flathead screwdriver and you take it out and you have that little nut and you have that long thing with 1,000 holes in it? Okay, so you take the smallest drill bit you have and you make that hole bigger. And then that way, if you make that hole bigger, more gas will be allowed through to the emulsion and then it won't surge anymore. Or you can buy a new carburetor. So we just spent about an hour doing a quick and dirty, which wasn't that quick. And then we took the whole carburetor, nor dirty. It wasn't dirty. Took apart the whole carburetor, blew it all out with carb spray, put it back together again, and it still surges. Albeit a little better, but still surges. But look, with these engines, they're known to surge. And like I said, all you got to do is drill that hole bigger or get a new carburetor. That's my fix for today. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
The UPS guy screwed this up. I'm gonna
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
Thank you.